It's a very scary situation because usually, especially for the ONIC fans, it's almost like a done deal. Not anymore.
Yeah,
No, not anymore.
Do you think that's because of ONIC's regression or other teams just catching up to ONIC?
I think it's I think it's a little bit of both. For ONIC, we've seen, you know, the three-peat champions here who've been able to claim so many titles, have been able to go to MSC and also winning 2 out of the 3 times they participated again, 2019 with the Kage era and 2020
Kage era.
with this new Kage era. I don't know what we call them. I mean, last time we called them the gods of the game. The gods of the game, that could work as well, but at MSC, technically, they were World Slayers. Right, that was the nickname they had for the longest time. You have to see, 4 times in MSC, man. That definitely has a nice ring to it. So, with the rivalry just heating up, we'll have to see. Both teams have shown that they have flexibility and they have crazy decisions. But that can be said for the previous match as well, and we saw how that went.
Yep, in the regular season of MPL Indonesia, season 13, they split the series 1-1 with ONIC. I believe they secured 13. They split.
Right, that was the nickname they had for the longest time. You have to see, 4 times in MSC, man. That definitely has a nice ring to it. So, with the rivalry just heating up, we'll have to see. Both teams have shown that they have flexibility and they have crazy decisions. But that can be said for the previous match as well, and we saw how that went.
Yep, in the regular season of MPL Indonesia.
That Fnatic ONIC, they've been able to find success on red side, on blue side. It really doesn't matter in the playoffs. Meanwhile, in the regular season, they've actually kind of like moved on for their red side full support that Yeb really loves to utilize, the red side only. So now that a lot of teams have been trying to take the red side away from them, they found comfort as well on the blue side. And I think in this meta particularly, blue side has been able to find a lot more wins. I mean, we saw how GigFam though were able to just find the way, find those weird drafts. GigFam themselves aren't very flexible when it comes to the widest of hero pools. But for ONIC, that's definitely a big factor here. With not a single player on their roster going below number 2 when it comes to flexibility. That says a lot, and that is part of the reason why Coach Jeb has been able to concoct such confusing situations. And you can see that for ONIC, they can play a very wide array of different playstyles.
For sure. As we're gonna take a look at the lineup for both of these teams, I expect no changes at all from ONIC and Evos. We're gonna see in a second. Still would be Kyrie, Suns, Keyboy, and CW Calvin Minata on the gold lane. Meanwhile, Evos, Shirley, Clockun on the gold lane. Meanwhile, Evos,
they found comfort as well on the blue side. And I think in this meta particularly, blue side has been able to find a lot more wins. I mean, we saw how GigFam though were able to just find the way, find those weird drafts. GigFam themselves aren't very flexible when it comes to the widest of hero pools. But for ONIC, that's definitely a big factor here. With not a single player on their roster looking to defend their title up against the People's Champions. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Fnatic, ONIC, and Evos Glory!
it's the Quills versus the Claws of Evos. Which one is sharper? Which one is stronger in this match? The battle to decide who's going to Rion. Who's gonna be the rep for Indonesians?
Have to see what kind of strategy, especially with coach strategy for Evos going up against Coach Jeb. Is the double coach enough to go up against this new mastermind, mega mind for the side of Evos? We'll have to see as Marshall, Daynang pitches them against each other, supported by Adi and Caleb on the sides. For Evos, they've been able to actually go and just go with their own style and just win it out. They haven't really done a lot of counter drafts, a lot of, you know, weird adaptive drafts. They seem to stick to their own roots and they have brute forced their way with execution to really get the better of even the best of teams right here. Now against ONIC, will that be enough? Will they be forced to do something a bit more creative?
I like that. Stick to your own preference instead of adjusting to the enemies, especially against ONIC. A lot of weird drafts, a lot of weird picks has been brought out by Coach Yep throughout the years with ONIC Indonesia or even ONIC PH. And for all of you guys out there that's missing out on the live event in Jakarta International Velodrome, please, by all means, you can just come here right now or maybe tomorrow or in the grand finals as we can take a look at the stats for both of these teams. Same win rates, but look at that hero pool, Rashi.
54, like we were talking about, Mirko. That's a huge number. If you look at the most banned by opponents as well, it's just quite a stark difference. The assassins here for ONIC definitely, but for the side of Evos, you can see two EXP laners showing again the presence of Fluffy in that macro game, in those team fights. So dynamic, such a signature player when he can get the heroes that can make those plays happen. And the most picks though, the Tigreal and the Minotaur showing that Evos loves those team fights. They like Dreams to be able to make those game-changing plays, and with the experience, with the instinct that he's developed over the years, who can blame them? For the side of ONIC, the jungle seems to be always focused on, but that Paquito has been always so prior to their win condition, and we're seeing a lot of teams wise up to it and target that EXP lane, trying to find a way to just shut down Lutfi, denying him any real impact in the game. Today, Evos will probably do the same thing, but ONIC will definitely have something as a response here.
Just take a look at the most banned by the opponent for ONIC. Top 3, Nolan 8 times, Joy 8 times, Fanny, I believe also 7 to 8 times. So already a whole different team or a whole different strategy is needed to face off against ONIC just because of the presence of Kyrie. Time and time again, this guy is a big game player. He's not afraid to bring out the assassins. Even last game or last match against Geek Fam, it was a closeout game in game number 4. They bring up the Fanny, a hero that you should probably not pick on that kind of situation, because we've seen even in NICD, game number 7, best player going on Fanny. Didn't work out because there's too much risk that you can deal with. That kind of situation, no objective take, no objective control. But ONIC is just a whole different team, man. They are confident with what they pick, especially if Kyrie is using those carry heroes.
They thrive with those risky picks. They thrive with gambling on their skills, on their mechanics, but that's not what got them here.
Right here, you look at the most picked jungler heroes in each region. For NECT, you do see the Akai showing up right there, but generally it's always been the Fredrin and the Barats, along with the Boxshot, has fallen out of favor, at least for now, when we saw in the regular season making a comeback in the playoffs. But for the side of Evos, there's a key difference here. Their jungler has been able to find success, weirdly enough, on all these signature picks that in theory should not be in the meta, should not work. But Evos has found a way to make it work. And so far, no real team has been able to really shut him down. If they go and try and ban it away, they let go for a lot of other prior heroes, and that is what has made Evos such a fearsome opponent.
Look at that. The crowd is pumped up on the possibility of their team going to MSC in their full gear with all this choreography. I'm so happy to see the excitement, man. This is just beautiful.
The passion has been here all the way from day number 1, again, for the Evos fans. It was first against Liquid Aura, then against Bigotron. Both wins. And I could say, you know, other than the players, the coaching staff, obviously, we have to give it to the crowd for always hyping every little play that happens. Everything that goes Evos' way, it could be a Lethal Wanderer. Something as small as a Lethal Wanderer retry win. And the crowd goes wild. The Evos fans are so full of passion, and that's definitely one of the big factors as to why Evos are performing the way they are in the playoffs.
But today against the ONIC supporters in full swing as well. Earlier shown on broadcast, chanting their own anthem. We'll have to see. There's going to be definitely a showdown in decibels as we are moving into the Coliseum towards the first drafting phase presented by the official tournament smartphone, the Samsung Galaxy S24 series. And already a quick progression in the bans.
Look at that, Ling and Kadira. You never thought this kind of bans would be in MPL Indonesia playoffs, but with the presence of Sans and also Kyrie. Anything possible. And this Kadira is one of the ways of ONIC to deal with this kind of CPS that's just so annoying, especially Nathan. It's always the solution that Coach Jeb offers to that problem.
But we know exactly what Clockwood was able to use to beat Pikachu Alpha, to beat Liquid Aura. It's that Luo Yi. That's up for grabs for Evos Glory. First pick, always for Evos, usually. Do they change anything?
I feel like there's no real reason to do so.
There you go.
Especially with that macro pressure that he can get for Clockwood, who's been so creative and so good at just randomizing where he brings his team with the diversion. Now for ONIC, knowing that they're up against a lot of mobility, technically global presence, what will they do? Is it going to be a split push scenario? Is it going to be a team fight counter? We've seen multiple ways to deal with the Luo Yi. So far, none of them have been a complete shutdown.
And there's no global presence hero anymore. Moskov banned, Chip banned, even the global presence adjacent, like Ling, is already banned. And now Coach Jeb has to, or like the whole entire lineup has to figure out how to deal with Clockwood. What's going to be the solution here?
Kai Roger is my guess. Because looking at the Baksha pick, usually you would want to go for the Baksha here, but the thing is, up against Evos Glory, I think this is one of the only teams you don't want to go Baksha against if you don't ban the Alpha, right? It's a big pick, so that's why here, didn't go for the Akai actually, they went for the Valentina plus the Roger to start things off. They want to see what Evos go for in the jungle and then react.
But that's a problem when you try and go against Evos and you're waiting for them to expose the jungle pick. They can wait long times, even until the second phase, if they want to really allow ONIC to waste a lot of their bans here. With the Valentina already picked up, it kind of denies like a Faramis and now the big ultimates. Will they go for something like a Tigreal and Minotaur though, is my question. Having the Valentina available to try and steal some of those ultimates away.
Two signature picks in a row, or maybe three from Clockwood. Annabelle once again, 73% win rate. That's probably 10 of them are Annabelles. It's the only one that uses this here and has found success so far in MPL Indonesia. And also, Mr. Jabran, trying the bombasticness in the game with the blazing duet.
Do you want to go for Nolan now? That's my question, right? I mean, technically no Ling, but if you want to match up that Alpha clear speed, it's either Baksha that gets countered by Alpha in these team fights. If you want to avoid team fights, Akai. But if you want to go guns blazing with this kind of comp, Nolan?
That's the safe bet here if you want to go for their Kai. Nolan though, we've seen it used by none other than Annabelle himself. Well, ONIC there can use it, or if they're thinking of going with it, they can just wait and show it off later. They go for the Grok first here. Yahweh's signature pick, but he won't be in here for today. Having a lot of ways to really go in without really getting punished fully by the crowd control can be a valuable tool, but other than that, just the barricades.
Also a way to deal with the Luo Yi as well, not getting CC'd by that passive, and also an extra layer for Bronze to be peeled when he's trying to go in with the blazing duet, because the knockup is very lethal. Going into the second banning phase. Right now, Evos doesn't have an EXP and a roll. Meanwhile, ONIC, no jungler and EXP. And on cue is the usual second banning phase favorite, export on the XP.
This was an export ban that was so prior, actually, by, was it other teams when they go up against Evos? They really want to make sure that this export doesn't really fall into their hands, especially if they want to go for those teamfight styles. And Evos' particular teamfight style, where they can just rush in and literally overwhelm you with all the damage, with all the tankiness in these fighters. It's almost like a throwback to the old 1-3-1 double fighter meta in the side lanes. It's a whole different situation now, but with the Fanny ban away, Evos are thinking that, especially for ONIC, it's going to be some kind of assassin potentially in the jungle.
No, again, an EXP lane ban is apparently for Coach Jeb. Ludwig's option is quite limited by now. Same with Fluffy, and also another EXP ban.
Ooh.
So maybe they're gonna bring up something like Benedetta or Paquito right away.
Paquito, it's always been respected against ONIC for the most part. It is open, and you don't really see a reason not to go for this Paquito, man, for Ludwig.
I think, you know, there are a lot of XP lane heroes that come to mind. Paquito, Yuzong, Benedetta as well. If they want to go for full dive, technically Yuzong can also make its way here. With the anti-CC, Black Dragon form, you do have a better way to enter these team fights. But Thamus, my friend calls this man Thomas.
Thomas.
Fun facts.
Very affectionate nickname there. Thomas in the EXP lane. He's going to be having the same kind of impact that the Alpha does, right? A bit tanky, does damage, can sustain a lot in the middle of those brutal fights. It's like an alternative to the CC. It's a bit more YOLO in. But right now, for ONIC, they only have that wild charge and the barricade as an engage tool. They have to find other ways to really try and stop Evos as they go for an Edith, as well as a Barats. Massive presence in the EXP lane as a main frontline. A lot of damage behind them as well. With the low E, we've seen that a proper frontline is essential to guarantee that all that AoE, all that damage can be put to good use. Now for ONIC, how will they want to react to this? Do they find ways to go for crazy flanks? Someone that can just maneuver around and go for an assassination towards the low E?
Might be. But what I really like about Evos' composition, especially the frontliner, is the fact that the opener is Roger. CW is going to use Roger, and he's not really the best hero that you want to pick in this kind of situation, but Julian is making a debut in MPL playoffs. Kyrie, man, what are you on?
He's on Julian. I thought maybe a Nolan pick, maybe Lancelot. Crazy will be Hayabusa. He surpasses the expectations, and let's see if his performance will be as bombastic or fantastic as that pick.
Man, we got a note here that the Julian, ever since the last time we saw the Julian show up at MPL ID, there have been some buffs to it. It now clears a lot healthier, a lot faster, a lot better overall in the early game. A move by Moonstone to try and make it a bit more viable in the jungle. Even so, we haven't really seen it being used, and now for ONIC, it's there. What kind of Julian are we gonna see? Is it damage based? Is it a utility kind of mindset for this Julian? Only time will tell as we enter the land of dawn.
Let's see who's gonna take the momentum first.
5 seconds
in this very
enemy
first game of a best of 5.
Smash them.
The decider to the one who's going to go to MSC 2024. It's Evos Glory versus Fnatic ONIC.
Welcome to Mobile Legends.
Immediately you can see not a lot of fighting in the mid lane. Stark contrast to Bigatron versus GateFam. Everyone has their own agenda right here. But look at the clear speed. Kyrie already going a lot earlier. Actually clearing faster than Annabelle. And you see Evos rotating though. Keyboy relatively secure on the Grok, but he needs to be careful just from the sheer damage output. You have to remember, with a fighter like Alpha, he doesn't need to wait for too many items to really start getting online.
You know the changes now, right? You can actually clear so fast on the Julian. The changes to the passive now, that allows you to get the attack speed buff, that passive, much sooner in the game. You get so much power, and I guess that's a way to go up against Alpha. We were talking about how you need to match the Alpha in clear speed. Bakcha can do it, but in team fights he can't. This guy does both. Julian, he clears maybe even faster, but in these team fights he can actually shred through these tanks.
And it's a jack of all trades, right? You have the anti-CC, you have the burst, you have even a way to get away easily. So it's a hero that really is something that Kyrie is known for.
Let's just hope he doesn't call Mahoraga, because then it'll be a
spoilers,
6v5.
People don't know what that means, Shevin, so...
I don't watch JJK, but I know what that is.
Well, we're still in the clear for now, but look at the emblems by Genshin earlier. You see that Kyrie actually goes for the Swift there, and so did Dreams. So Dreams is trying to be an extra damage dealer, but look at this. Annabelle, for once, backing away from an engagement. Surprised by the Julian.
Great usage of the Scythe and the Chain.
That's not really an equal trade either. Annabelle has to use the Spear of Alpha to get away from a normal combo from a Julian. So he has to be careful in the near future for this kind of engages from Kyrie. Maybe just waiting for Dreams and Fluffy to open the push. And once again, ONIC, they're playing an assassin. Who they want to contest?
Power of Nature to go in front. There's a Spear of Alpha, but a wild charge as well. No one's a Retribution. It's Claw again. Who finds it? Flicker and a death is welcome. Finding one. Spinning San's back out, and that's first blood through the slashes of the Alpha.
Quite uncharacteristic right away from ONIC. Usually in this kind of situation, they tend to just concede and try to make up for it in the bushes or maybe in the jungle opposition. But now they get punished. Sans, the core member.
Power of nature though, used up. That's a diversion defensively. They cancel it out, but look at the spear of Alpha that grants up their safety. Bananavel, he was stuck all alone.
Left behind, left for dead. Great moment for ONIC there, and you're seeing the damage potential from the Julian though. With the empowered sight, it's a lot of damage if they're not careful. Dreams to spot him out right here as we take a look at the talent predictions by the Samsung Galaxy S24 series. Seems like for the most part, it's gonna be once more a disagreement between the English desk and the Indonesian desk. Except for Shevin though.
Yeah, maybe I should change the Indonesian desk right away
Get
now.
out of here, Shevin.
I mean, I do think that Evos is a whole different breed in the playoffs, just like KB said. And it's very apparent. Like, so far in the playoffs, they're playing nothing like the way they play in the regular season.
Well, we'll have to see if that will be enough though to go up against ONIC, because they have been cleaning up as well. And you saw that when their backs were against the wall, they immediately turned up the speed, turned up the heat. So it's almost like we haven't really seen ONIC at their full power just yet. But we'll have to see, right? This is the kind of match that will force them to do so.
4 minutes so far, nothing much going on. 1-1. Not much gold lead either from Evos. Still could have gone either way. SCW.
Whoa. Blazing the web from Brands just to clear the wave and to zone CW back.
I like that. I like that. Aggressive and not really that worried about your resources because it's gonna be up right away in the next team fight, possibly. And now you can catch up to the wave in the middle.
Brand's gonna poke down. He has full stacks though, so he's able to just walk around. Meanwhile, Lutpi trying to find an angle now onto Fluffy. He goes. That's a knock-up from Dreams with a retribution from Kai. Now CW with the Lycan form and Kyrie with the enhanced sight. Dreams gonna be next on the chopping block as Sans goes in, and that's gonna be CW with his claws slashing down, and another enhanced chain. Or scythe rather, used up by Kyrie. That's 3.
Kyrie the Sorcerer right away. 2 kills or 3 kills from Kyrie on that exchange. Now ONIC has the gold swing. They have the opportunity. Block cut.
The enhanced sight.
That's a lot of damage. Watch out, ladies and gentlemen, back home. In your ranked games, you're gonna see a lot of Julians after this. Kyrie making it work, rushing the Holy Crystal as well. He's here for damage. And just like that, 1 turret and almost an instant snowball from ONIC.
He's breaking the rules, not just of the land of Dawn, of the character he's from as well. He doesn't even need Mahoraga.
Yep. And he's playing safely too. He's not bringing Mahoraga right away in the early game.
Okay, enough with the but yeah,
I actually don't know what
Arashi
I'm
doesn't
talking
understand.
Okay, well, for ONIC at least, they're doing a great job here of really not showing their cards, and they are playing for pick-off technically. It seems like a bit of a teamfight composition, but if you look at their heroes, a lot of them actually do a lot of single target damage. So if Evos misstep, it seems like ONIC is saving spells for the critical moment, and they're just bursting down the main front line. But look at this, Kyrie.
Spots it out, puts in the chain, gets munched on. Death to this welcome, spinning him back out. But Kyrie's still going to be alive and has sword. They all rush him. Dreams picks up the shutdown. Lutpi still in the midst of it all now, being able to put on some damage. Keyboy now around the back. Wild charge. Sans picks up a double. Dreams, no Primal Wrath to utilize. Caught. Sans steals away the Primal Wrath, knocks him up with the R Shatter. Meanwhile, Lutpi deals with Fluffy. It's a full Fnatic ONIC win.
This is the ONIC that we're used to seeing. No stop at all, just dominating in every clash possible. 2.3k gold lead in 7 minutes. They are rolling.
They took out Kyrie, Evos, but at what cost? They lost a lot there. And at perfect timing, ONIC going for the turtle. Look at that, clear speed. That's the Julian power. Now it's back to business as usual, hunting down for these turrets. Without the outer turrets on the side lanes, this mid area is the only safe refuge for Evos. Even in the jungle, you can see Keyboy is looking for information, and despite having the diversion, they're going for it again right now.
Oh, Lutpi, does he read it out?
Uh-oh.
It's a stare down.
Uh-oh.
That's in welcome by Fluffy, and it's not going to be used aggressively.
Wow. Great wisdom from Lutpi there to recognize that there's no one on the map. Where are Evos? With a low Yi, they are somewhere. possibly close to me. He is not taking any chances. Take a look at some of the items here. The in-game equipment by Tunia Games. Keyboy acting all tough, but he only has 3 components. He isn't really going for a full item just yet. He wants to have those quick stats, but look at this.
Death is welcome defensively as the wild charge goes onto the back, onto Fluffy. Meanwhile, he just got absolutely deleted. San stole away the Primal Rat. Lutpi on Annabelle. That's a good dispersion. In the back, but Lutpi now is going on to Annabelle, forcing that vengeance out of Lutpi, and Annabelle will be able to deal with Lutpi with the Spear of Alpha displacement. Fnatic ONIC take that 1-for-1, 2 with the turret in the mid lane, and they're happy with it.
They're not giving the Tigers any time of rest. They're still rolling through. Every time a clash is possible, they're gonna pull the trigger. That was an exchange, but an exchange that benefited ONIC. And by the way, Arashi, I thought Holy Crystal is a late game item.
He just immediately rushed it. He knows that the scaling, the numbers on that Julian is so good. And look at that. I mean, earlier, we saw how Bigatron was able to use this Barats to be a main front line. And Coach Boots right here,
Coach Boots,
he is admiring his team's work. You saw that even Dreams, even Fluffy, the supposed front lines, get absolutely deleted. Now with the Blood Wings as well, he's going to be a lot more secure. And ONIC just pushing the tempo. They have all the turrets, and they're not allowing Evos to make the plays off of the diversion from the low E.
Diversion. Keyboy spots it out, and no one takes it.
And notice how earlier in that fight, Keyboy just casually walks in with the power of nature, and the fact that they are so concerned about the wild charge just pushes everyone from Evos away. They have to try and find a solution for that as well, because ONIC, they can do it again right here.
Slowly but surely. That's a conceal by Keyboy, and our shatter cancelled out. Fluffy! The Dino completely deleted. How do they look for an angle to fight? Annabelle is forced to use the Spear of Alpha defensively to the back, and it's free for ONIC, for Fnatic ONIC.
Just dominant. Every time there's food, they're gonna take it. Every time there's an opportunity, they're gonna capitalize on it. This is the ONIC that we're used to seeing, and 2 items right away secured. The big ones at that. Lutpi with a Vengeance and Blade Armor. Now Brandt is gonna be in trouble whenever he's going for that blazing duet.
That is Sans with the Primal Red just threatening for more DPS. Runs with the power spike, and that fight breaks out.
Death is welcome as the enhanced chain connects on the Dream. Still in the back, it's gonna be Keyboy who lands a wild charge onto 2, but it's all just for the turret in the mid lane. That's a tier 2 claimed by Fnatic ONIC. Nothing to retaliate with, Evos.
Wow, the fact that Sans technically got caught there and he just walks out of there, no sweat. Now Clockland has a Divine Glaive though, so the frontline members have to be a bit more careful. But overall, when you want to talk about burst damage, man, Kyrie matching the Divine Glaive as well. Even without it, he was able to just one-shot anyone in the front line. Now he'll be looking to try and do the same.
Whoa! Oh my goodness!
Almost Clockland just got deleted. But now onward, onto Keyboy, who's forced to flicker out, conceal play. Now trying to retaliate, only forcing Evos back.
Already, a lot of gold lead has been put up by ONIC, 6.5. Not quite the ONIC, the most dominant ONIC we're used to seeing, 1K gold per minute, but they're up there. So right now they're focusing their attention to the bottom lane, and all tier 2 turret is gone. ONIC rolling through the Tigers.
Even Sans picking up that Blood Wings as well. It's going to be a lot more durable, which means he can just walk up with the Primal Wrath. He's still holding on to it. Even if Evos expend their resources to try and shut down Kyrie, CW has been untouched in this game, going with that Roger build, with the Windtalker, with the Endless Battle, and the Great Dragon Spear. He's going to be very, very mobile as a cleanup crew.
Wow.
Sans can output that DPS.
This marks Julian's debut in MPL Indonesia Season 13 after last being used by Suelo in MPL Indonesia Season 11.
Wild charge, knocking Dreams up. Oh my goodness, the damage on the Lycan pounds into the back line, but CW was still going to be able to survive. Annabelle Spears of Alpha to the back. Oh, Sans picks up the execute as Kyrie melts him. Death is welcome, bringing Kyrie back, and that will be a trade. Kyrie for 2.
A trade that they're happy to take any day of the week. 1, 2, 3. And now, 18 seconds left. Oh, Lutpi, my goodness gracious. Woo.
He even has the Vengeance. He could have held it back. Fnatic ONIC in the base, trying to go for the siege in the bottom lane, but will not be able to do it. Not with that wave, at least. Evos dealing with it very, very well. And Fnatic ONIC, pull back.
They give away a shutdown though with Kyrie going aggressive there. 5 seconds till he's up. And the Lord is already ready for the taking. And you see that Brands went with the Rose Gold Meteor. He recognizes the threat of that magical damage. But that's the problem here. Will that alone be enough? It's not just Kyrie. You saw that in that base siege from Fnatic ONIC. Sans was just hitting, free hitting, becoming a DPS character. ONIC now jumping on the Lord right here. Evos don't seem to be in position to contest for anything.
Zero diversion play value has been used by Clockun. A polar opposite on what he did against Pikachu Alpha.
And Liquid.
Yep. Now, what do you think is the difference in this game compared to the previous ones?
Well, now, it's just ONIC snowballing way too hard for anyone. If they just clump up together, there's a wild charge threat, there is a enchanted, empowered side that can just follow up. And now look at Fluffy stuck behind a wall.
Jetson is welcome defensively, Dreams as well with the armor defensively, but a Primal Rack gets stolen away and Fluffy gets eliminated in the back line. The pay zones them together. Spear of Alpha, but it only brings CW closer to them as Kyrie picks up a double, and they're gonna go march on towards the base. Kai, enhanced chain to find a triple kill.
Fnatic ONIC, more like lunatic ONIC. They're an absolute psychos of the game. 5-2-1, Grant's the only lone defender of the Tigers. Can he do it?
Flip the coin is what he needs to do. Maybe reset is what they need to do as well. That's a stolen blazing duet to dance on Evos' Game 1 graves.
That is a statement from Fnatic ONIC to the Tigers. We are still the kings of the game. We are still the Sky Kings. You are the challenger.
A dominant showing, shutting down the Alpha from Evos, shutting down the whole aggression. We thought that Evos were gonna attempt to run over Fnatic ONIC, but ONIC pulled the reverse card and ran over Evos instead.
An absolute stomp. Julian's debut in Season 13 in the hands of a man that is known as the best assassin user in the world, successfully brings Fnatic ONIC closer to Riyadh, to MSC.
We've talked about the hero pool and the confidence that Kyrie and the whole team has to him. And this kind of situation, a debut pick turned into a convincing victory. Now, job's not done. 2 more games to go to Riyadh.